Oh my goodness, I haven't heard this song in a long time. From the Bomb File. Week of May 14th, 1966 on Billboard's Hot 100, coming in at number 82. Mrs. Miller with her version of Downtown. She died. She passed away in a retirement center back in 1997. She was 89 years old. When she came out with this record, she'd be about 57, 58 years old. She's been singing for a number of years, but she was known for singing off key. And Capitol Records capitalized on that, almost making a joke out of her singing voice. And Mrs. Miller claimed that later on that Capitol Records would pick the worst, several of the worst of her recordings, and put them out as singles, under the belief that sounding bad sounds good. And it did work for Mrs. Miller. Her real name, by the way, is Elva Ruby Cons Miller. Connes. Maybe it's Connes, but I think it's Cons. She's from Joplin, Missouri. She was born in Joplin, Missouri, the town that was destroyed by a tornado, a massive tornado 4 years ago. Just a few weeks after a tornado hit here in Tuscaloosa, she took music when she was in college. She took voice lessons, and she also took music voice lessons at college, and she produced some records, mostly in the gospel children's genre, classical as well. And she put out a single, but it was distributed to a local orphanage. It was called The Slumber Song. And she was discovered later, around 1960. She got a break. She was discovered by Gary Owens, a prominent DJ on the West Coast. He would later become an announcer for Laugh-In. He put her on his show. He featured her on his show. She got a deal with Capitol Records. And Capitol Records, they put out Mrs. Miller's greatest hits, and she covers a lover's I can say words in my mind. I can hear the pronunciation in my mind, but it doesn't translate when it goes up through my throat to my mouth. A Lover's Concerto by the Toys. She does that. That was a flip side of Downtown. She does Let's Hang On. She covers Moon Rivers. And I would have liked to have been interesting if she covered Strawberry Fields Forever. That would be interesting. But here's the thing about the album. First 3 weeks of release, because of its sheer novelty value, the album sold 250,000 copies. That's right. First 3 weeks of release, it sold 250,000 copies. And the song, her version of Downtown, went to number 82 on Billboard's Hot 100. The week of May 14th, 1966, it's down to 83. It was only on Billboard's Hot 100 for a month. And the novelty value of Mrs. Miller's voice wore off eventually. Capitol Records dropped her. Later on, Mrs. Miller claimed that Capitol Records dropped her because she wanted to do ballads and she wanted to sing songs correctly. And Capitol said, "No, you sounding terrible is great. It's making money for us." But you know, it's one of these he said, she said, or they said, she said story. Mrs. Miller's greatest hits is a collector's item, I'm sure. God knows how much it's worth now. Downtown, Petula Clark classic from 1966. Miss Miller, off key and sounding great in her own way.